updated daily makeup tutorial. I don't know. I'll try my best to make this a tutorial as much as possible, but really just to show you guys what I do. And I think makeup really works for everyone depending on the features they have on their face, but any detail that I think gives my makeup style its personality, I'm gonna try to focus more on that. But let's start with the makeup. First, I'm starting from sunscreen because this sunscreen is not just sunscreen, it also acts like a primer, and it says tone up. It tones up my skin, but I really like to wear this on days where I don't have any makeup on. As you can see, it's like gone, but I'm gonna take out the last bit. It doesn't have a lot left, so I'm gonna use whatever is in here because I'm not going outside anyways. Just wanted to film this for you guys. Then I blend. So I like to let my products dry down before I reapply, because that way the products don't slide off. At some point my makeup started peeling and I was finding a way to avoid that from happening, but I didn't realize it was my fault. It wasn't the product, it was my fault. So yeah, that's one tip I have. I don't know if this is common sense really, but I learned this pretty recently, so it might help with somebody. And it feels really nice, and after you apply this and it dries down, it kind of has like a smooth matte almost and sticky feeling, and I feel like that really helps with my foundation staying on my face perfect. So it's all dry now, and also since it's summer, it's really hot. Our air conditioner broke, so the one in my room is not working, so I have 2 fans right now, and I think having like cool air around really helps also, because you're not sweating your makeup off and your skin isn't producing heat. So when you're cool, I feel like your makeup turns out better that way. So, and I purchased a new foundation recently. This got delivered 2 days ago. I actually tried it out once to school and it worked really good throughout the day, but then again I still can't decide if this is a good foundation because my school day is pretty short. So the real test would be when I go to work, because I work about 10 to 11 hours, and if this stays looking as good as it did at school, then I'll for sure know that okay, this was a good buy. Not this much. I like to use just little by little, because if it's too much then they just go to waste. So I layer them. And since I ran out of my Play-Doh cushion, I used the puff to blend it in. Originally I used to put my foundation everywhere and then blend, but now I started doing it section by section. So I applied here and then I'll blend and then do this on different sections of my face. Actually, I apply concealer first and then I go with my foundation and then apply concealer again, but I forgot to do that today, but it's fine. I can always just do one layer of concealer. This looks so nice on my skin, like when I apply it, and it's really runny, so I think this is really good for natural coverage and daily makeup looks. So I'm glad I got this. I was really skeptical when I was getting this, but luckily I haven't experienced buying the wrong shade of liquid foundation online. I guess I'm good at guessing what shade will suit me. I think the coverage right now is pretty good, even if there's still some blemish. I'm personally totally okay with having some blemish on my face still, because it's normal. But with the amount I used, I still have this left over, so I just wiped that off. So recently, I've been using the Glossier concealer a lot more often. I think this is like perfect for summer because it's very lightweight. So, apply a little. Then a tiny bit here, and I do this. Since I have kind of like a broad and kind of flat nose from the front, I like to highlight here before I apply contour, because this kind of acts like a highlighter for my nose to give it some structure. So it's like contour but with highlighter, and then I use another puff. blend a lot. Sometimes I wonder if my foundation is still there, but it's still there. It just becomes one with my skin. Because obviously you can see my skin still looks better than it would without foundation and concealer. Contour. My sister gave this to me. Okay, so this is how I do it. So the concealer I put on earlier acts like a map already, like a light contour. Here, just tiny because this is very pigmented. Yeah, put tiny under there, and then here and here. Then here, 3. 1, 2, 3. Then I use this puff from Momo Workshop on the sides of my face first. And I tried to drag it to my hairline too. You like that? Can't see it on camera. I'm planning on getting a new camera because this one, not the best. But I like to use my fingers to blend in my nose contour. I just put it across the bottom like this. This one. And then I do kind of like the C blending with my fingers. It looks really, really good. If you have a similar nose to mine, a nose that's flat from the front, then I think this contour style really, really helps a lot. And after doing that, I go with my setting spray. This is really important. Like, you have to not care about how much setting spray you use. That's why I think just buy a cheap one, because you need a lot to keep your makeup on. My makeup lasts for like about 12 hours, and that's because I layer my setting sprays. So I douse my face in setting spray like this, and then let it dry, and then move on. Now I go with my powder. First, I like to go under my eyes, just to ensure it sets well, because I have fine lines under my eyes. So to ensure that the product doesn't peel under there or look cakey, I put a lot of powder there. So even with my fine lines, my makeup still looks smooth. And I also really focus here because I have hollow under eyes too. So I put the powder here because sometimes the powder doesn't really get in there. So I have to be very meticulous about how I apply the powder. So I use this edge over here, under here, and also on the sides of my nose. Eyebrows, forehead, eyelid, my nose. So technically I set the top part of my face before I set the bottom part. I don't really have a special reason why I do that. Get as match as possible. Okay, so I think now we're gonna move on to the most important part of my makeup. So I do Aegyo-sal makeup, and I also started highlighting the inner corners of my eyes regularly, and how I do it changed also. So I use this palette from Judydoll. This one and this one are the ones I use often for my eyes. You need a brush like this, thin, very thin. That's important. And slanted. I feel like since it's slanted, it makes it easier to draw lines. With a darker shade, I underline. That underline, I don't know what I make lines on the eyes. Like that. And blend it out. I don't leave any space between. When I use this brush, I like to do this. Just clean the sides of the back of my hands to ensure that it makes a straight line. So I drag it all the way. You see the difference? And I'll do the same for the other eye too. So when I'm done with that, I start doing my lash routines. I do my lashes before I move on with my eye makeup because they're very curly and I have to straighten them instead of curl them. Upside down, then clip. Oh. Then clip like that. It's a hassle to do mascara. Then for my lashes, I personally prefer wispy long lashes to full short lashes. So I like to use this mascara because it's lengthening. And then I focus on the tips to make sure it's really long. So when I open my eyes fully, it kind of shows over my eyelids. So it's time to move on to the Aegyo-sal makeup. I'm going to show you how I do that because really it's all about trusting the process. So trust the process. Since I already mapped out my under eyes, I'll just go in with this very bright shade here, and then I highlight my under eyes. I noticed that this way it doesn't crease at all, so this shade acts like a powder for my under eyes and keeps the makeup from creasing, so it's like setting my under eyes. And I also like to focus more on the middle of my eyes. It just looks better that way, I don't know why. I add a bit more in the middle here, and also here. Can I blend it in? You just have to trust the process. Then I blend it up like this. This is what it looks like. This acts like a highlighter for my Aegyo-sal. Since I don't do the line under, the dark part under here automatically does under eye lining. Now I go with the same blush I'm going to use on my cheeks. So I use this on the parts where I highlighted. Brush like this. Works well. So just tap, 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 tap. I'm gonna do this on one eye first so you can see the difference. Just tap on the place where you put the light powder. I'm trying to hide my eye from the sun. But as you can see, it already looks a lot more natural than this one. So I'll keep on doing that until I'm satisfied with how it looks. And I also do that here, blend it in. So this is the difference. After I'm done adding the blush on, this is what it looks like. You can always adjust this to however you want it to look like. So I'll do the same for this other eye, and then we'll move on. I use the same dark color from this palette to make a very natural eyeliner because I think it just does more for my eyes. So personally, I prefer eyeshadow colors as eyeliners than actual eyeliners because the eyeshadow colors are lighter and more natural, and I feel like natural eyeliners just look better on me. So follow my natural eyeline like this, and I kind of clean it up. For the final step for my eye makeup, I also like to use mascara on my bottom lashes. I like to make it look a bit clumpy sometimes. Like that. And with this, my eye makeup is done. So now, everything else that follows after my eye makeup is very simple. Just blush and lip. And when I feel like it, highlighter. And I focus this on the outer parts of my face first. And then I brush it in naturally, so you can still have like a tiny flush of color in the middle of my face. I brush it in. And also, I never forget my chin. And tip of my nose, and here sometimes. Just do that to add natural color. Now one more time, I'll spritz my whole face with setting spray again, but this time I cover my eye makeup because my lashes are naturally curly, so if water gets on them, it kind of curls back up, and to avoid that, I do this. Let it dry down. And then I go with powder again. Technically all over my face again, but this time more lightly. So I'm using that. And I then use this type of brush to just brush around my face. I don't know why I do this, but sometimes I feel like some extra powder particles are still on my face. Even if I don't see them, I just do this to help smooth out my makeup. So this is the final touch for my base and my fix. Then I'll go in with my lip gloss. First I apply Vaseline to just ensure my lip is moisturized. And then I go in with this. This was actually gifted to me, and I really like it. So if you don't smack it up together, a film forms on top, and it's transfer proof. So even if you drink water or something, the shine is still there. I try not to smack my lip, but really, I don't really care about it smudging or anything because I still have the lip gloss. I can always reapply. So when I feel like I need to smack my lip together, I do that. But right now, it seems pretty smooth. So And since I dyed my hair brown, this color just makes me look better. Like, the hair color really suits my makeup color, so everything goes really well together. I'm gonna style my hair and show you guys the final look. Actually, I think I want to do highlighter today, so I'm gonna use this Hints True Dimension Radiance Balm, and this is the shade Dawn Ray. This kind of goes with my blush color. It goes really well. Apply this on here lightly. It's like another blush, but this time glowy. These are the colors. Since it's pretty muted, I'm gonna do my eyebrows. So this is the final look. This is like a mute makeup, mute neutral cookie makeup. Cookie, this cookie right there. But yeah, we're done. Hopefully this was somewhat helpful for you guys. If you want to follow my tutorial, I'm really bad at tutorials, so this probably came out bad. But also I have a lot of codes, like discount codes, in my description box, so you guys can check them out and use them whenever you want to shop in any of the websites I have the codes in. So yes.